It's Canada Day, and Sephora Canada is having a 50% off sale to celebrate the big day. And I thought I would go through and tell you about a few products that I think are worth it from the sale. If you are curious to know what my recommendations would be, then stick around. Hi there, it's Hélène, and we are going to talk about the sale section in Sephora because of the Canada Day sale, as I just mentioned. So I've got my phone here and I'm going to bring up the Sephora page, the sale page, and I just want to go over a handful of items. I don't want to go with too many, things that either I already own or that I have purchased as a result of this sale, so that you can decide whether or not you want to purchase those items. Now, not everything is 50% off, but there are various ranges of discount. By the way, if you want to know how I came up with this look today, I will link it as soon as it is available. Okay, so I am on the sales section, and one very big notable item is the fact that the Norvina Pro Pigment palettes, number 1, 2, and 3, are available and on sale. So those are the ones I'm talking about. And they were regular price 79 Canadian, and they are now 39.50. So that is half price. Very interesting. Oh, this one is out of stock. So I would not be surprised that they are going to restock tomorrow. They usually restock on a daily, so you might want to be early in the day in order to get your hands on some of these items. Now, this is one that I picked up. It's the only item that I picked up during this sale, and it is the Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde eyeshadow palette. So I did pick this one up, and it was regular 88 and it's 52.50, so it's 40% off. And that is a palette from Huda that I was interested in. It's actually the only palette. I have the Coral 9-pan mini palette, and this is the only other one that spoke to me. And with it being 40% off and 4 out of 5 stars, a little bit over 4 out of 5 stars, I thought I would give it a shot. I find the colors quite intriguing, and so for me, it's funny because I decided I wanted it about, it was always interesting, but I decided I wanted it about a month ago. And so for it to all of a sudden show up 40% off, it's like it's karma. So it's going to be part of my collection. I do want to talk about one product, and that is the KVD Vegan Beauty, the holographic palette. It is on for a ridiculously cheap price, and these are really interesting highlighter shades because they look really great on the eye. They make me think of the Aftershock highlighters from Cliona. And right now, that palette used to sell for $44. It's now on for $13. I think it's an absolute steal. They are so interesting, and if you only think about it as a highlighter on the cheek, you're really kind of missing out. The same thing goes for the Fenty Killawatt palette that I've been reviewing for a bit here on the channel. At $13 from $44 is amazing, and $13 for 4 highlighters, it's just over $3 a piece. It's really, really cheap. So $3.25 a piece. It's again really, really cheap. I would recommend it. And speaking of, right underneath it is the Killawatt foil palette, and that is what that looks like. And it's on right now for $28.50 from $67. It's less than half price. I think it's 60% off. That's also ridiculous. It has 4.5 stars, 320 reviews, so that's quite a bit. And out of the whole palette, which I can show you, so the palette sells for $28.50, and if you consider the math, 28 divided by 7 is $4. It's $4 for each one of these highlighters. And all of these highlighters do well both on the eye and on the cheek. And I have used these two as blushes. I have used all of these other than the blue. No, I've used the blue now, Sub-Zero. I did use it once. But I have used these 3 as highlighters on the cheek. And I have not used this one on the cheek at all, but I have used it on the eye. So on the eye, eye, and these two primarily as blushes. For $4 a piece per highlighter, or even if you consider it as eyeshadow, it is very, very inexpensive. And if you are not crazy about the palette, it is in cardboard, so you could definitely depot all of these highlighters relatively easily. The next item I would recommend are the Makeup Forever singles, and they are huge. I can show you all of the ones that are on sale. I can show you right now. And here we are. I think if you get 2 or more, you get one of these cases, and the discount ends up showing up. It's even better than the sale. So $13.50 each. And if you buy more than 2 or 3, then you would select a case and you get a group or multi-unit discount. So play around with the site if you're interested in these, because it will make a huge difference on your cost. I think that getting 4 shadows plus this container was in the $20 range Canadian, so it was really pretty awesome. And it's such a good value. I have gifted palettes like this to 2 friends already, and I'm really pleased to have these shadows. And like I said, they are huge. I'm just going to swatch the lime green here because it's almost like a lime green or periwinkle. It's just beautiful. They are super, super pigmented. Let me just swatch one that is maybe more approachable to a lot of people. And I saw that these 2 were both available in the sale section earlier today. Look at the richness of that burgundy brown. It's so beautiful. So nice. And here's the green. Beautiful. I'm getting distracted. I'm an eyeshadow junkie, so anyway. And just those containers, those Makeup Forever containers, you can get them for 1 shadow, 2 shadow, 3 shadow, or the 2 that you saw are for 6 shadow. I highly recommend. They're $3 a piece, and they are, I'm going to say, virtually indestructible, and they have a mirror. I couldn't ask for more. The magnet in those is amazing. And the next one I want to talk about is an Anastasia 9-pan. Now there are 3 of these palettes. This is volume 2 that I'm going to show you. And it's showing as out of stock, but they went from 38 to 19, so they're half price. And that is a really good price if you are interested in any of those 9-pan palettes. And I'm going to bet that they're going to restock tomorrow and the next day. And here is the second one and the third one. So volume 1 and volume 3 are still available as of the filming, and it's only number 2 that's out. If you like highlighters that are more on the subtle side, I would highly recommend the Tarteist Pro Glow, and it is on for half off during this sale, and as I can see, it is definitely available. I have it and I quite like it. The only thing I don't like is that there is a cream contour as part of the palette that you are going to see down here, but everything else is, they're all very flattering highlighters, and then you've got a light powder contour and then a dark cream contour. But these highlighters are all quite beautiful. Just going to go with Stunner, which is my favorite. It's just super, super nice. And for under $30, it's amazing. Look at that. You can use it as an eyeshadow. You can sheer it out as a highlighter. So here it is, sheared out. It's really quite nice. It has kind of a peachy beige look to it. And all 4 of them are really nice. I have swatched them all on this channel, so you can just search for Tarteist Pro Glow if you want to see my swatches. Another one that I want to note is that the Natasha Denona Diamond and Blush Palette in Daria is available for a significant discount. It was $117 Canadian and it is now $58.50. So that is half price. If you have been thinking of a face palette from Natasha Denona, that might be a good time to pick it up. Now, I will note that it has been on for 50% off for some time now. Just a comment. You can also get a few of the Marc Jacobs lipsticks for half off as well. And I do like the formula quite a bit for Marc Jacobs. If you are in need of a powder contour palette, I do really like the Sephora Collection Contour Face Palette. And it is on for half off. Sorry about the ring light. And it is, yeah, 37 down to 19, so virtually half price. Now this next product and the Sephora Contour Palette I have depotted, so I didn't take it out for you because it would be hard to gauge. But this product I do have, and they seem to have it in every color, and that is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Blush Trio. It is regularly $40 and it's on for $28. And these are definitely worth the money. And here is mine. So this is what it looks like. And let me just show you the inside. So it has a decent mirror and the 3 blushes. And I like all of them. And I do use all of them. So yeah, they're really nice. And you can see some wear on there. I use them quite a bit. My favorite is probably this one, which is Blank. And the second one is Pageant. And then Cash, because it's more of an orangey color, I don't use as much. But I really like it, and for travel, this is just the one that I grab because it gives me 3 options that covers pretty much the range of any look that I would want to do. Also, there are a number of Sephora Pro brushes that are available at half off. I would recommend, if you like any of the brushes and you have a hole in your brushes collection, the Pro brushes are pretty decent, and I have a number of them. You will see me use Pro brushes once in a while on this channel when I'm doing some makeup looks. I haven't had so far a Pro Sephora brush that I haven't cared for. One example is this Sephora Pro Mini Flawless Airbrush, and it looks like this, and it's usually $25 and it's on for $12.50. And this is the brush, and I use it every single time I do my makeup to powder my under eye, to set my concealer. These brushes are super, super soft, and every time I use them, I'm reminded of how comfortable they are to use. So just a comment there. And at the time of filming for this video, that mini Pro brush, the 56.5, is still available. There is, as far as eyeshadow, another one that is of interest. It is 50% off, and that is the Melt Cosmetics stack. And that is, which stack is it? The Blueprint eyeshadow stack. And I have to admit, this one is of interest to me because I've never had a Melt stack. And it's 4 stars, 18 reviews is not a whole lot. But if you like blues and kind of rusty browns and oranges, you might like this palette. Well, this stack. Now, if you know me on this channel, you would know that I coveted this palette for quite a while, and it is the Tarteist Pro eyeshadow palette, and it is right now half off, $32.50. Now, it shows out of stock right now, but it's probably going to get restocked for Canada Day, and I really, really like this palette. Let me show you. Now, both of these are on sale, so I might as well show you both. So this Tarteist Pro has been all over YouTube. It should not be a surprise. This is what it looks like. And it is so easy to follow a color story from left to right. It's very, very easy to set up a look. If you want to grab a palette and don't want to have to think about too much, think about what it is you're going to do. You just follow one of the rows and you're good to go. And it has a very significant mirror that you can adjust as you want. And so it gives you a lot of flexibility to do your makeup, especially if you want a robust, very sturdy palette to take with you. And this is the more colorful sister palette. I would not call this palette a standalone, but I think it's a good complement for pops of color to the original Tarteist Pro, and they call this one the Remix. And it has a lot fewer mattes, which is why I consider it more of a companion to the original. And I do find the background a little bit distracting, but there is no question that the colors in here are really, really nice. So here's that goldy yellow. It's very pigmented and gives you a lot of options to kind of piggyback onto the Tarteist Pro palette. At $32.50, it really is a great price for both of those palettes. But if you were going to select between the two, I would probably suggest the Tarteist Pro for most people. Now, here is another palette that I did pick up for the same price, and that is the Lawless Beauty palette, and it's regular $85, it's on for $59, and that's what that one looks like. And it has 4 out of 5 stars. Like I said, I've picked it up, but I have not used it yet. So I have no idea what to think of it yet. But it is an independent, woman-owned brand, which I think is really nice to see at Sephora. And I wanted to support a brand in that category. And so Lawless, when it came on sale, I thought, well, it just makes sense for me to give that brand a shot. And there is also a highlighter from Lawless in the sale section as well. And here is the Lawless highlighter if you're curious. Now this is an exciting product in the sale section, again for half off, and these are the Urban Decay Hi-Fi Ultra Shine Cushion Lip Glosses. Now I have a number of these and they are fantastic. Let me just show you a few. So I have 4 here. This is my favorite, and this is called Snapped, and it is an absolutely beautiful color. Actually would go really well with what I'm wearing today. There is the classic, well, classic-ish color Beso. It makes me think a little bit of Back Talk, but a little bit more mauve. And here I'll show you against the absolutely iconic Back Talk. So there's Beso, and here is Back Talk. And they're really, really comfortable. And finally, I do have a fiery color, Dirty Talk. And they are really neat. I kind of like the fact that they won't roll around on you because they have a rectangular packaging. And here is the wand, if you were curious. They are really, really nice. I'm running out of room. And they smell wonderful. It's like a candy smell. It's almost like between a candy smell and spearmint gum. That is what they smell like to me anyway. So you can see I have 4 of them, so obviously I like them. Now next up is actually a product that I picked up, and it ended up being half price before the sale. And let me show you the one that I got. There are 2 options. There's a light option and a deeper skin tone option. So the deeper skin tone option is Glam, which is this one. And then there is also the Glitz, which is the one that I ordered. Now it's on its way to me, but I ordered it. It was 50% off, and I like everything that I have purchased so far from Cover FX. So it feels like a really good gamble. And it is basically 3 different highlighters in this one package. You'll see that they're split here. And the reason, oh, nice, big picture. And the reason I wanted this is for one highlighter in particular. And I thought if that one highlighter is in there, it's worth it for me for $18. And it is the Moonlight, which is the highlighter that I have in my cream quad that I'm trying to finish. And it's actually the highlighter that I have underneath Lavender Dreams, which I have topped up on. Moonlight is a very, very beautiful, subtle cream highlighter from Cover FX. I really quite like it. And you can build it up to be, viewed from space if you want. But I do like the fact that with a cream highlighter, you can just do a wash of highlighter if you want. So it has 3 highlighters in it. It has Rose Gold, It has Celestial, which is more of a pearl type finish, and then Moonlight, which they call Shimmering Beige. Again, a very light highlighter. So I'm very excited to be receiving this, and will definitely let you know what I think of it. But I think a half off sale, and it has major 5 stars to it, so that's a good sign. Assuming they're real reviews. There's some debate on that. Now, another product that is going to be of interest to some people is the Sephora Collection Pro Palettes. There are, I think, 7 different palettes available. There are 3 of these very big blush palettes in 3 different hues for light, medium, and deep. And those are, I mean, those are 8 face products for $37. I mean, 8. That's huge. That's just $4 and change for each one of those blushes. That's really inexpensive. And they have a very high star rating. So I think that's a good sign. And they also have the same Pro palettes, but the eyeshadow version. And so here is one example of the eyeshadow version. It is 28 shadows in this pretty sturdy palette with a full mirror. And so from 85 down to 43, not quite 50, but pretty high up there. And they have a warm, a cool, an editorial number 2, and the dark edits as well. So they have quite a few to choose from. And 43 down from 85 is a substantial discount. And I can show you one of them. The Editorial 2 I do have, so I can show you what the palette looks like. So here's the Editorial 2, and I have not shown it yet on this channel because I haven't used it yet. You have all of the shadows on the back, and it comes with a lookbook, which I find is pretty helpful if you're feeling overwhelmed by a lot of shadows. And it's a very sturdy palette. It makes me think of the Smashbox packaging. They tend to be very sturdy if they're in the plastic. And it has, of course, a protector, big mirror, as I was mentioning. And these are the shadows that you can expect in it. So again, that's the Editorial 2. And what fascinated me about this is that I felt a good compliment to the first Editorial palette, which is the other one that I purchased last time these guys were on ridiculous good sale. So I can't speak to the quality of the shadows yet, but the packaging is fantastic. And the other thing I'll offer is at $43 for 28 shadows, you're talking about $1.50 per shadow, and there's quite a bit of product in this palette. Each shadow is 1.2 grams. These are full-size shadows in here, so I'm really pleased with it. And the one thing that I might caution you is that it is very sturdy packaging, so it's actually pretty heavy. So that might be a consideration for you. If you like cream and powder contour palettes, I really do like the Naked Skin Shapeshifter. And both the light to medium and medium dark are available. And instead of $66, it's on for $33, so definitely half off. And I happen to have it in my collection, so I will show it to you. This is one of the best concepts for cream and powder products for contour that I've ever seen. One side is all your powder products. So you have a shimmery and matte highlighter, and then you have a light contour and light on the cooler side, and then warm side contour. So you've got your bronzer contour and then matte and shimmery highlighters. I really like it. I'm kind of repeating myself. Each side has a mirror, and the mirror is also a divider between powder and cream products. So your cream products are not getting all messed up by the powders, which I really appreciate. And you'll see quite a bit of wear in this palette. I have used all of these cream products, and if I am going to need to take my makeup somewhere, I will take this palette because Again, the powders and the creams don't mix, and it is actually pretty compact. It's surprisingly heavy, probably because of the two mirrors, but it is really compact and super, super sturdy. I'm not worried about anything happening to this palette, and it has a nice magnet as opposed to a clasp, which I appreciate. One other product that is from Natasha Denona at 50% off is this mini Lila palette. I thought I would mention. It is very tiny though. If you don't have a mini palette, just a word of warning that Natasha Denona minis are tiny, just tiny. And I have it right here. I did pick it up for half off, and so I would never pay full price for this because it's just too tiny. I mean, if you see, this is my finger, really kind of tiny. How much does it each have? So they're half size shadows. They're 0.8 grams each. And here is the palette. I did swatch this palette. I think it's okay. I'm not big on plastic cover palettes. It's just not my thing. But there are 3 shadows that are in the purple family, which is kind of nice given it's a mini Lila palette. But I could not compare it to the full-size Lila palette because I don't own that one. But anyway, this is how tiny it is. Now here is a palette that I did pick up. It is a brow palette from Makeup Forever. And I picked it up because it is a very good value in my opinion. It is a small palette. I would not pay full price for it, but it's down from $38 to $22.80, and at $22.80 it's worth it because it has, it's a palette, self-contained palette, it has a mirror in it, 3 brow powders, so that if you are medium brown or darker, I think it's a very good palette because you can use the lighter shade to lighten up a look and the deeper shade throughout the brow. And if you know me, you know I use at least 2 powder colors in my brow any given day. And it has a highlighter for the brow bone, right here, and then also a brow wax. So it pretty much has you covered, plus a brush and a spoolie. So it is great, especially if you find that you need to touch up your brows during the day. It gives you your full option, and it is really quite tiny. It's about this size. This is my current brow palette that I'm using on the daily, and Makeup Forever is behind the camera, so I'm not going to go and get that one, but it's about this size. And I am really big into brow powders now. I find I have a lot more control, and they're not as wasteful as a pencil that runs out so quickly and then you're throwing away the component. I'm pretty convinced on that brow palette, and it will last years. A lot of folks are upset by the size. It will last you years. It's crazy how long these things last. Now, one last product to leave you with, and it is the Smashbox LA Cover Shot eyeshadow palette, and this is what it looks like. And it is $34.50 as opposed to $59, which is 40% off, so that's pretty cool. And Smashbox has a fantastic mattes formula. And this is my street cred when I say that, because I have been using Smashbox mattes like crazy over the last year and some. I wear this palette every single day, and I've finished 7 if you count quantity of the shadows in here out of 14. And they are such good mattes. Every single time I use this palette, I'm so impressed with the mattes. And I have to say that if I did not already have a few palettes from Smashbox, I would be jumping on that LA palette. As a matter of fact, I had to talk myself down off the ledge from purchasing it earlier today, just because it's a great price, but I really need to work through my Smashbox shadows that I already have before I even worry about adding more palettes to my collection. So, and I have a lot of beigey, light brown, neutral mattes from brands I like, so Smashbox and Tarte. I don't need more. But if you want a nice matte formula, Smashbox definitely is fantastic. Now that is it from me as far as what caught my eye in the sale section for the Canada Day sale. The only thing that I want to put a caveat to is the Natasha Denona products. I mentioned a few of them. I have very little experience with the brand, but the discount was so significant that I did want to point them out because it is a luxury product that is would very often feel out of reach. So I wanted to mention those in the sale. As far as the other products, I am definitely standing by what I've said for each one of the products. I really did not want to talk about anything that I thought would not be very good quality. And there's some brands that I flat out left out of the discussion for that reason. I just wanted to give you some very solid product recommendations. And like I said, I've picked one item out of the sale, which is the Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde. That's the one palette that has been on my mind quite a bit. The only other one that I might pick up is the Naked Flushed because I have the Shapeshifter and I wouldn't mind having a blush contour highlight palette from Urban Decay. But that's it. That is it as far as my desires for anything. And I technically do have a blush, contour, and highlight palette quad from Urban Decay, and that's from the Jean-Michel Basquiat collection. So do I really need the Naked Flush? That's probably why I haven't purchased it. But anyway, that is it from me. I would love to hear your recommendations for the sale and also what it is that you plan on or have already picked up. Please let me know. I would love to hear. And with that, I will say thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it every single time. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. But for now, take care.